Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Jeanette.
Good morning, Joe. How are you?
Fine. I guess I'll turn my video on. It's awfully early. Here I am.
Happy Friday.
Really. You look good today. What do you say?
It's another day. It's not raining, it's sunny. There's a lot of things I can point out, but not negative.
Holy cow. Did you see who got COVID?
I know.
You know, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy, but I hope he's okay.
I really hope that they're all okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully this a wake-up call.
Yeah. Although, knowing him, he'll probably come out of it saying, no problem, no big deal. I told you everything was going to be all right.
I hope he is okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to see anybody get sick.
No, I mean, you hear about it and some people have it worse than others. So
yeah. He's not in a good category. He's over 70. He's overweight. And who knows what else is wrong with him.
I mean, he eats McDonald's and fast food.
He's got high cholesterol, I saw that.
But so do I, so it's genetic.
So do I if I didn't take a torvastatin. So, what do you think?
As far as
anything?
Again, it's Friday. My son gets married tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I have a wedding. It's only 50 people, no dancing. It's in the city, so it's very strict. But yeah. That's what they wanted. They wanted to get it over with and out of the way for this year. So
I think a lot of people are beginning to do that. You know, they were calling the weddings off until next year. Now that's like, yeah. Now they're getting married and they're just saying, well, we'll see what happens next year.
Right, right. That's their feeling on it. Yeah. They'd rather save for, their house anyway, so.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning, Frank.
Hi, Frank.
Just heard that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It'll be a very happy day for them and for you.
Yes, yes, it will.
Yes.
So you think this will be a long meeting? Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, we have a lot of items to cover and approve so it may be just the roll call that'll take some time, but should be good. See who else is on. Hi, Dennis.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are we today?
We are great.
That's good. I'm getting my equipment set up here and I might be ready in 2 seconds. There we go.
Jeanette, I bought a brand new Canon color laser printer. Can I get that in the budget?
I told you I'd be more than happy to print whatever you need. You didn't have to do that.
Oh, no, I needed it for other reasons too.
Oh, okay. Whenever you have a large document that you don't want to print at home that has to do with Onccc, please feel free to just email me and I'll be more than happy to print that out for you.
I know you would. I know you would. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Religion Maywood here.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mayor.
Morning, Joe.
Hey, Dennis. Hi, Arlene.
Hello.
I've been waking up late lately. This seems early to me. You're not gonna believe this, but I actually had a hard time sleeping last night because I was thinking about all the things that Fly Quiet has to do in the next couple of months.
Oh, God.
That's crazy or what?
Yeah. You know what I find helps me is to make a list and then check things off with great big check marks as you do them.
It make you feel like you're doing something, right?
Exactly, yeah. On the other hand, my son has a theory, just accomplish one thing every day and it keeps your mind clear. So you can organize it that way too.
Maybe the bar I set is low because the thing that I check off every day of accomplishing is getting out of bed.
Ah, okay,
Maybe I have to raise the bar a little bit.
yeah.
I guess I could mute and go play the piano for a while.
There's lawnmowers in the background.
Oh, you hear that? Let me shut it off.
Oh, no, I don't hear it. I don't know if you hear my lawn mowing
Oh,
crews
no.
in the neighborhood.
No, I don't. I got a humidifier on in the basement. That's why.
Oh, okay.
If you don't hear it, then I'll leave it on because it gets musty down here otherwise.
I think I'm one of the few people who mows my own lawn.
Really?
These guys pull up and they've got the big mowers and they do several houses in our dead end block. So they ride the mowers up and down the street, you know, getting to the different properties.
Yeah.
There's Ryan.
Good morning.
You look as happy as the rest of us do this morning.
Happy Friday.
Yeah.
The one thing about Zoom that dawned on me last month when we were all together at the meeting is that if I make a comment, say to Jeanette or Arlene, I'm actually talking to 60 people. I got to remember that.
That's why there's a chat feature. You can just chat with individuals.
Yeah. I got to remember that too.
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hi, Rebecca.
Good morning. How is everyone?
Fine.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm better than the President of the United States.
Have told him to wear that mask.
Get some sunlight in that body.
Well, he's got one thing going for him. He'll have the best care of anybody in the world.
Oh,
That's
sure.
certain.
Look at all these old people. They're all happy they figured out Zoom.
Hi, Jeanette.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning. Good.
Hi, Jeanette.
Good morning, Dr. Cooper.
Morning, everyone.
Morning, Ray.
Good morning, Ray.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, we can start going again to sail. Cruising is back.
Yeah, I'm getting on a boat like that soon.
Yeah.
The German incubator.
You know, I've never been on a cruise, Dennis.
You'd love it. They spoil the hell out of you.
I eat too much as it is. I'm afraid of one of those things.
Yeah.
You have to
You
carry
have
me.
to roll me off the ship.
So here we are talking to 45 people now, Dennis.
I know.
I will tease and tell everyone more than you wanted to know that button top pants are what kept me honest during COVID. And everyone I told them was like, oh my God, button top pants, kept me honest. As much as I would love to be casual.
Hey, Jeanette, I'm showing at 8 o'clock. Do we have a quorum?
I am going to take a count right now. There's still people joining.
Yep.
Mayor, whenever you're ready.
Okay, great. It is 8:02 by my clock, and I will call this October 2nd meeting of the O'Hare Noise Compatibility Commission to order. Okay, I'm getting an echo. Does somebody have two speakers on? Well, I'll continue. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So in your places, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of
States of
America,
America, and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Jeanette, would you call the roll, please? And again, if you happen to have two speakers on, please turn one of them off. I'm still hearing an echo.
So am I.
Yeah.
Village of Addison,
Here.
Arlington Heights,
Here.
Bartlett,
Here.
Bensonville,
Here.
Bloomingdale,
Here.
City of Chicago,
Here.
City of Chicago 36th Ward,
Here.
38,
Here.
39,
Here.
40, 41,
present, here,
45, Cook County,
Present.
Des Plaines,
Here.
Downers Grove,
Here.
DuPage County,
Here.
Elmhurst,
Here.
Elmwood Park,
Here.
Franklin Park, Glenview,
Here.
Hanover Park,
Here.
Harwood Heights, Hoffman Estates, Itasca, Lincolnwood, Maywood,
Here.
Melrose Park, Mount Prospect,
Here,
Niles,
Here.
Norwich,
Here.
Northlake,
Here.
Palatine,
Here.
Park Ridge,
Here.
River Forest,
Here.
River Grove,
Here.
Rolling Meadows,
Here.
Rosemont,
here,
Schaumburg,
Here.
Schiller Park,
Here.
South Barrington, St. Charles, Stone Park, Wayne, Wooddale, School District 2, 7, 48, 59, 63, 64, 80, 81, 84, 84 and a half, 85 and a half, 86,
Here.
87,
Here.
88,
here,
89,
Here.
100, 205, 207,
Here.
214,
Present.
234,
Here.
299, and 401. We have a quorum, Mayor.
okay, thank you. And just a reminder, in accordance with the COVID-related amendments to the Illinois Open Meetings Act protocols, Jeanette is attending the meeting at the ONCC offices. So it's required that either the executive director or one of the members be in the usual place of business. And Jeanette fulfills that requirement. And also for each vote, unfortunately, we need to do a full roll call vote. So we'll try to move the meeting along, but we do need to do full roll call votes. I'm sure we're all aware of that now in our own respective political bodies. So first item of business is to approve the September 4th ONCC meeting minutes. Is there a motion to do so?
I'll move so.
I'll second.
Okay, Jeanette, did you record that motion in second?
Yes, I did.
Okay, let's do a roll call vote then. Oh, I'm sorry. Are there any additions or corrections? Please use the chat feature if you have anything to add. And I see no chats, so let's take the vote.
Village of Addison,
Yes.
Arlington Heights,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Bensonville,
Yes.
Bloomingdale,
Yes.
City of Chicago, City of Chicago 36th Ward,
Yes.
38,
Yes.
39,
Yes.
41,
yes,
Cook County,
Yes.
Des Plaines,
Yes.
Downers Grove,
Yes.
DuPage County,
Yes.
Elmhurst,
Yes.
Elmwood Park,
Yes.
Franklin Park, Glenview,
Yes.
Hanover Park,
Yes.
Harwood Heights, Hoffman Estates, Itasca, Lincolnwood, Maywood,
Yes.
Melrose Park, Mount Prospect,
Yes.
Niles,
Yes.
Norwich,
Yes.
North Lake,
Yes.
Palatine,
Yes.
Park Ridge,
Yes.
River Forest, River Grove,
Yes.
Rolling Meadows,
Yes.
Rosemont, Schaumburg,
Yes.
Schiller Park,
Yes.
School District 4, 86,
Yes.
87,
Yes.
88,
Yes.
89,
Yes.
207,
Yes.
214,
Yes.
234, 299, and 401. Thank you.
Rosemont votes yes. I had my mic muted. I apologize.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The minutes are approved. And I've got a request from one of our members to make sure when you're making a motion or a second, state your name. Hi, Jamie.
Sorry, I'm having trouble here.
That's okay. It happens to all of us from time to time. As I was saying, if you're making a motion or a second, please state your name when you're making that. It's a lot easier if you don't have a distinguished voice. It helps to identify for minute taking. Okay, let's move on to our guest speaker. We are very fortunate today to have as our guest speaker FAA Great Lakes Regional Administrator Rebecca McPherson. We're very privileged because Ms. McPherson actually attends most, if not all, of our meetings in the audience, and we're pleased that we're able to have such a cooperative and collegial relationship with the FAA. Of course, there are bounds between the regulators and the regulated industries, and of course, we're sitting there in the middle as the Onccc, but we certainly appreciate Ms. McPherson's involvement. And this morning she's here because we do have the opening of Runway 9 Center, 27 Center. That'll be commissioned on November 5th. And the FAA has produced an informational video, which I hope you've all had an opportunity to take a look at. It's available online. And if you have any questions or comments, this morning, Ms. McPherson is available to just brief us on that update and outreach. And you can answer questions as you bring them up. So I'll turn the floor over to Ms. McPherson. Thank you.
Thank you, Arlene. So as Arlene noted, there will be the commissioning of the new runway on November 5th. And as a result of that commissioning, the noise profiles around O'Hare will shift. Historically, what we've done when we've commissioned new runways is the FAA has gone to the communities that are expected to be impacted and done fairly extensive in-person workshops, usually in the evenings. None of these have been done as a result of our obligations under NEPA, but rather simply as informational briefings. Because of COVID-19, obviously we had to rethink our approach. And actually, I think that turned out to be a real positive. I'm sure all of us have, as much as we hate Zoom, as much as we hate the current environment, there are little pearls that come up from time to time and which we're able to embrace. And I really think that's what happened here, right? It gave us the potential to change how we do similar outreach in the future. So if you haven't seen the video, and we're actually gonna try to show it after everybody has dealt with all their questions, but that might not work. In any case, we use current actual operations as the baseline for explaining the anticipated changes, rather than using the anticipated flight tracks that were modeled in the 2005 environmental impact statement, and to the extent they changed in the 2015. I think this has a really strong benefit because truth of the matter is modeled data is modeled. It's not actual. It's never 100% accurate. The 2005 EIS is now 15 years old, and even the 2015 is 5 years old. And the truth of the matter is nobody really remembers the noise they heard or thought they heard 5 to 15 years ago. What they remember is what they heard last night. Sorry, I have a bug. Is what they heard last night or a week ago. And by using the actual current operations, people who are likely to be impacted will actually have a frame of reference that they can remember and that they actually experienced. So once we decided to move along this approach, several of the lines of business and staff offices within the FAA worked with a contractor to create a public-facing video. And that video is currently posted on our website at www.faa.gov/go/OMP. The video has been shared with congressional representatives, other elected officials, the O'Hare Noise Compatibility Commission, and the general public. It's also been featured in multiple news segments in the greater Chicago area. And we released the video the day after Labor Day, which was September 8th. As of September 30th, that video had been accessed 1,252 times. We would never have reached that many people had we done in-person meetings. So I'm a firm believer of using this approach when it's appropriate moving forward, because it allows the FAA to provide a clear and consistent explanation of the upcoming changes, and it expands outreach by being readily accessible at any time. It also allows people who may have questions that they didn't quite get answered, but which may have in fact been answered the first time, to go back and look at it again, right? I mean, a lot of people don't necessarily absorb everything the first time. So it gives that opportunity. For those of you who haven't seen it, I'm going to attempt, I'm going to attempt to share it now, and we may just call it quits. And because I have never shared a screen before. So I'm going to attempt to load it and share screen. If I fail miserably, my community engagement officer, Rachel Bassler, is going to try it. And if that doesn't work, we'll just throw our hands up. Hopefully a lot of you have already seen it. Okay. Okay, guys, I just need to share my screen and figure out how to do that. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
Audio's not good.
I have no idea. Let me see if I can do something about that. I think it's as loud as I can get it. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
There is closed captioning.
Can we post the link?
Okay. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna stop the share, and somebody who can post this and hear it. I'm gonna close it out. Hopefully.
Maybe you can send the link via chat to everybody.
All right. Let's do that.
Typically, a button on the bottom left that says "Share Computer Sound" as well. If you didn't check that.
Oh. I don't have that on mine. I tell you what, we have the link. If you haven't seen it, please look at it. I think you'll find it informative. For those who have seen it, do we have any input, questions, anything I can provide anyone.
Okay, it looks like Maura has shared the link on chat, so people will have access to it. If you want to get to it now and copy and save that link, please go ahead and do so. So does anyone have any questions or comments for Rebecca right now? I think it's certainly a very thorough video, and I like the suggestion of going back and viewing it again. There's an awful lot to absorb on one run through. We have a great opportunity here to go and repeat it as many times as it takes. And Maura points out it's also posted as a news item on the ONCC website. So are there any questions or comments for Rebecca?
Mayor,
Yes.
Frank from 41st Ward, Chicago here. I'm having a hard time just getting my written chat. So I'd like to ask Ms. McPherson if the FAA is going to consider modifying the noise contour for the east side of the airport, at least, where the runway is going to project into and over the 41st, the 45th, and the 39th wards of Chicago. It looks like we're going to get really bombarded for at least a year while the construction of 9 right 27 left is being extended. Is there any hope that we can get some sound mitigation at least planned or scheduled so that the people aren't completely disheartened?
So it's the city's not noise contour, not the FAA's. However, should be no change to the existing noise contour, right? That was all modeled in the EISs, both in 05 and 15. So while you may experience noise that you did not experience before, that does not mean that you will experience noise at the level that would include you in the contour. And I would suggest, if you have questions about that, go back to the EIS and see what those contours look like. That may start a conversation with the city, but that's what's going to control that.
It doesn't seem like the present contour lines up whatsoever with 9 Center, 27 Center. As a matter of fact, the northern cutoff for it is the center line for the new runway.
For sure, the noise contours were considered, and the new runway was considered in those noise contours. So it may well be that if it's not within the noise contour, it's because it doesn't meet the legal threshold.
So remember, it's a 65 DNL, Frank, and I would invite you to go back and take a look at the EIS reevaluations that were done specifically for the revised OMP construction schedule, and all of this was considered. Okay,
That's the
so
2015 document. Yeah, I mean, it's in there, right? You have to meet the legal threshold to fall within the contour. So just because you're getting noise that you didn't used to get, that doesn't mean that you fall within the threshold.
Well, I understand that part, but logic, if you look at the map, logic would tell you that the noise contour that we have now does not represent the new runway being in use.
So again, I would suggest that you follow up and look at it again and then have conversations with the city. I can guarantee you that we did consider use of that runway in doing the EIS.
So Frank, I think this is an offline conversation with the city. If you want to meet with them and get a sense, a review of how those contours were impacted and what the analysis revealed.
Okay. That's good. Thank you.
Okay. Mayor, this is Jamie. We'll absolutely sit down and discuss those with you and go through the maps and the current efforts underway to soundproof.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you. And if I could, Mayor, real quickly, I just wanted to say thank you to the FAA for being a great partner and bringing on this critical piece of infrastructure. Thank you, Rebecca, and your whole team.
Absolutely. Also, the city has done a series of Q&As that were released roughly contemporaneously with the video. So I would suggest people actually look at them in tandem because they play off of each other. and they sort of do different things.
Thanks for bringing that up, Rebecca. It's a good segue into the City of Chicago's report because item 3 under their agenda item is in fact the runway outreach, and they'll be giving us just a quick overview of the outreach that they're doing, which include FAQs. So if there are no more questions for Rebecca, thank you so much. I think this video is an extraordinarily useful effort, and technology is our friend in getting communications out in this time of social isolation. So thank you for the efforts that you put into it.
No, you're welcome. And when appropriate, I'm never going back.
The avatar. Okay, so let's move on to the City of Chicago report.
Good morning, Madam Chairman. This is Aaron with the City of Chicago. We've got 3 items on our agenda. And to begin, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Ryan Anderson of Landrum and Brown.
Good morning, everyone. We'll be going over the August 2020 Airport Noise Management System report. Hopefully everyone can see that on their screen. For the month of August, we had 45,999 total operations recorded for O'Hare. This, of course, was well below where we were at this time last year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We're about 45% below operation levels of 2019. We did, though, see a bit of an increase compared to July. As we have discussed before, the airport has seen a uptick in summer travel through July, August, and a little bit into September. But when we come back this fall and report the numbers for September, October, and November, you'll see those numbers drop off again, as we are predicting that the COVID pandemic continues to have a serious impact on operation levels at the airport. So 45,999 operations for August 2020, bringing our total to date of 364,707 operations for the year. And again, well below where we were at in 2019 at this time. Page 2, top of page 2 is our wind summary. And again, wind is a key factor when influencing runway use at the airport. As you can see from the wind diagram on the right, upper right, you can see the predominance of wind occurred from the southwest. That, of course, drove the airport to operate in a predominantly west flow configuration. As you can see from our arrow here, west flow and east flow, 55% of the time the airport operated in a west flow configuration versus east flow. And that, of course, determines or drives which runways are predominantly used for the month. For the month of August, our most used departure runway was 28 right, which is our predominant west flow departure runway, 43%. Our most used arrival runway was 28 center at 26%. The bottom of page 3, we have a summary of complaints total for the month of August. We saw 20,485 total complaints. We'll go into more detail in the complaint report later as to the number of households that made those complaints. But as you can see, a slight increase in number of complaints compared to July. That correlates well with the increase in operations that we saw in August compared to July. Page 4 is our aircraft fleet mix report for August 2020. The fleet mix report summarizes all of the different aircraft types that operate in and out of O'Hare. We group those into 3 primary groups: the regional aircraft, where the smaller regional body size aircraft, narrow body aircraft, and wide body aircraft. For the month of August 2020, the airport predominantly had 54.5% regional aircraft operating. Narrow body was 32.8% of the total fleet mix, while wide body aircraft was 11.7% of the total fleet mix. The average operations per day in August were 1,379, and 79 of those operated at night, representing 6% of the total operations. again, well below pre-COVID operation levels, especially the share of nighttime operations. Typically, we see twice that percentage for nighttime, so only 6% of the operations occurring at night in August. Page 5 is our runway use report for daytime, daytime being 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. During the daytime hours, again, we're predominantly in west flow in August. And as you can see at the bottom charts here in our arrows, 28 right was the predominant departure runway with 43%, followed by 9 right at 23% when we were in east flow. On the arrival side, we have predominant arrival runway 28 center with 25% when we're in west flow, followed by its reciprocal 10 center with 23% when we're in east flow. As a reminder, due to the extremely low operation levels, runway 10 right, 28 left is closed. There's no operational need for that runway at this time, so it was closed through August. So we had no operations on that runway. The far north runway 9 left, 27 right was used. That is predominantly used for arrivals in both west flow and east flow, and that is a daytime arrival runway. Page 6 is our runway use report for nighttime, 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. This report is for August 2020. This is before we resumed the interim flight quiet rotation program. So this, the runway use reflects traditional flight quiet. As you can see, again, 28 right was the predominant departure runway with 45% of the operations. We also saw 28 center with 13% of the operations. On the arrival side, the predominant runway, 35% on 28 center when we're in west flow, and 29% on 10 center when we are in east flow. Page 7, 8, and 9 are our permanent noise monitor location and reports. Page 7 shows the geographical location of all 36 permanent noise monitors around the airport. Page 8 is the aircraft noise report for the first grouping of noise monitors, sites 1 through 19, where we look at the aircraft DNL values for each monitor for the month of August, as well as comparing that to previous months, as well as the same month of the previous year. As you can see, majority of the sites saw a decrease of a decibel or more compared to August of 2019, obviously driven by the low operation levels caused by the COVID-19 impact. But all of them well over a decibel or more decrease. Page 9 is the second grouping of permanent noise monitor sites, sites 20 through 44. And again, the vast majority of our permanent noise monitors saw a decrease of 1 decibel or more. That shows then the green shading there compared to the same month of the previous year. So all of our monitors showing much lower noise levels as a result of the much lower operation levels. Page 10 is our noise complaint report for August. This is where we show the verifiable households that made complaints in the month of August, as well as the previous 2 months. As you can see on the far right here, we had a total of 284 households making complaints in August. That was up slightly from July and June. Again, we did see increase in operations in August, so we expect to see a few more complainants, which we have. And the communities that we did see slight increases in are Chicago, Schiller Park, and Park Ridge. And those are most likely due to increase in west flow arrivals. So those arrival streams over the communities east of the airport most likely drove a slight uptick in number of households complaining in August. And then again, the method of complaint or by far website is the preferred option for making noise complaints. The nature of complaint 88.6% aircraft noise, and the time of complaint, only 13.6% were nighttime. The rest were daytime at 86.4%. Page 11 shows the geographic locations of all the verifiable households that made complaints in August. As you can see, it pretty much lines up with our East Flow, West Flow operations, with a bit of a lean towards the east side of the airport. As I mentioned, we were predominantly in West Flow in August 2020, and a lot of these complaints line up with our West Flow arrival streams. And that completes the report for August 2020.
Any questions for Ryan? I'm not seeing any, so let's move on to interim flight quiet.
As I mentioned, we began the interim flight quiet rotation program in last month. Let me just share my screen here. All right, okay. Again, we resumed the interim flight quiet runway rotation program last month, September 13th. And we are currently in week 31 here with arrivals on 10 center and departures on 10 left. We have reported on week of September 13th. Our goal is to have our weekly reports up and available on our website by the end of business on the following Friday. So there's a bit of a week lag as we collect the data and generate the reports. So we will have week 30 up on the website and distributed to everyone by the end of the day today. And we'll continue to make that our goal as we continue through IFQ Part 2. Again, this IFQ Part 2, we will continue to rotate through the end of January, the week of January 24th. And then after that is when we're anticipating to close runway 9 right, 27 left in anticipation for construction of the extension. And that will conclude the interim flight quiet runway rotation program.
Questions on IFQ? Okay, let's move on then to the 9C, 27C outreach.
Good morning, everyone. So I've got 3 exhibits to show you, and Ryan's final point is where I'm going to start. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show some graphics for you. So let's do, all right, let's switch over. All right, Mayor, can you see an airfield diagram?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to zoom in a bit. So we often show these at Tech Committee, but because we're opening a runway, this is very significant, and I wanted to show it with all of you. So as we've been talking about, we're going to open a new runway on the North Airfield in about 5 weeks. That runway is called 9 Center to 7 Center. Obviously, that's because we already have an existing 9 left that I'm showing you with my mouse on the northern edge of the runway, and 9 right, 27 left is an existing runway. So we've got a center runway right in the middle. It also has its own supporting network of taxiways. This is very significant for the city of Chicago, not just for the O'Hare modernization program, but in the history of O'Hare. For the first time, we will have 8 active runways. To our knowledge, the CDA believes that we will be the only airport in the world with 8 active runways. And this is one of the major accomplishments of the OMP in order to reduce many of the airspace delays that prompted the need for the O'Hare modernization program in the early 2000s. So this graphic I have already emailed to Jeanette, and we'll talk about that even further when we get into the Tech Committee meetings coming up. There's some additional airfield work on the South Airfield, and when we go into Tech Committee, we also like to talk about that. So this poster is available to help illustrate the location of that runway. The second poster is for pilot awareness. This is a new poster that we have also launched. As we've talked about in prior years, it's important for us to get the word out to the pilots, right? They need outreach as well because their aeronautical charts are going to change in a significant way. As we've talked about, those are published every 56 days, always on a Thursday. And the opening of the runway is intended to coincide with the pilot chart publication cycle. And so that will be Thursday, November 5th. So it gives some of the key dimensions. We've talked about this in the past, but it bears repeating. Both 9 Center and the runway we opened in 2013, 10 Center, are both designed for larger aircraft, specifically what we call Airplane Design Group 6. And that includes, you'll see up here at the top of the screen, design aircraft, Airbus 380. Those aircraft are typically longer and wider. And as a result, both of the center runways will have a width of 200 feet to accommodate that extra wingspan. And 9 Center itself will be a runway 11,245 feet. So this poster, albeit simple, is designed to help get the word out with the pilot community. We've got a couple of basic sentences here, and that's to just help the pilots understand that when this runway opens in November, the use of that runway in the first year will be different than it will be in subsequent years, and that's because the 9 right, 27 left runway that Ryan mentioned will be closed for the runway extension. And so it's important for us to make sure that everybody knows that the way it's used in the beginning will be different than the way it's used later on. All right, so this poster has also been emailed to Jeanette, so feel free to contact me or her with any questions. And most importantly, the last document I want to share with you is what Rebecca mentioned earlier. When the CDA started our conversations with the FAA regarding outreach, the two agencies agreed that we would partner on the outreach efforts. And most notably, the FAA really, helped out by producing a video to show how the airspace and the runways would be utilized. And the city agreed to publish another frequently asked questions document. We did this in 2008 with runway 9 left. We did it again in 2013 with runway 10 center. So we wanted to bring that back because we know that for all of you communicating this information, it is technical in nature. We want to make sure that the information you're giving to your constituents, your residents, and your neighbors is both accurate, but it's also concise. And so all of us have worked very hard at the city, and the FAA has done a peer review for us, which we very much appreciate, to make sure that the information is usable. Largely, this follows the format that we used in 2008 and 2013. So I'm just going to skim real quick. When will the runway open? Why is O'Hare building a new runway? Was the OMP analyzed for environmental impacts? So what we're doing here is recounting history. There are 3 principal goals to our outreach. Number 1, to remind everybody that the OMP is still around and underway. Number 2, to let everybody know we do have a new runway coming online, and that runway is 9 Center, 27 Center. And number 3, we want to make sure that people are prepared for changes in airspace, which means changes in noise impacts. All of that's very important, and that's really what we're trying to accomplish with this noise outreach. We talk about where is it located. So a lot of you will probably want to know this factoid. The runway is about 1,600 feet north of existing runway 9 right, 27 left. If you take 1,600 feet, divide by 5,280 feet that are in a mile, this is essentially 0.3 miles north of existing runway 9 right, 27 left. And if you take that and multiply that by how many blocks in a Chicago mile, 8, which means that this runway is going to be about 2.5, 3 blocks north on the city grid. So whether you use 1,600 feet, 0.3 miles, or about 2.5, 3 city blocks, that's going to help you get some perspective as to the physical distance between this new runway and the existing runway 9 right, 27 left. How will the runway be utilized? We have a very basic sentence here because we at the city are going to encourage as many people as possible to view the FAA video. The FAA has worked hard to make sure that the information is clear about the immediate use of 9 Center as well as the future use. We talk again about the type of aircraft. It is the last of the new runways with OMP, but it's not the final airfield component. As we've mentioned, we are still underway with construction with existing 9 right, 27 left runway extension, and that is currently scheduled to be completed next December of 2021. Then we do some just basic overview of what is fly quiet and how does that come into the picture. We talk about where people are living and aircraft noise. We recap what is the noise contour, why is that important? And then in these last few questions, we get into noise monitoring, and sound insulation. So this document has 15 commonly asked questions and answers. And at the bottom, we have the city's website, the FAA's website that Maura just sent in the link. That's where the FAA video is. We have the Onccc website, and then we've got some phone numbers for complaints and RSIP eligibility. We hope you find all of this information helpful. Please do not hesitate to ask Jeanette. She has a copy of this PDF. We at the city will be uploading this to our website in the next 1 or 2 business days. So just know that we have a number of outreach tools available to all of you, and we hope you find this information helpful. Mayor, that completes our report. Are there any questions for me or for Ryan or for the commissioner?
I did have a chat here from Don Owen. Can you share the links to the poster graphic and the FAQs with us so we can use those on our websites? And the answer is yes, the FAQs are already on the Onccc website, and she will also be posting links to the poster graphics as well.
Yes, the poster's already uploaded to the CDA website. We have a separate section on the CDA website called Pilot Awareness. We've reactivated that website and the poster's already uploaded. So I'll go ahead and send the link and post it as Maura did for the Onccc materials.
Very good, thank you. So we want to make sure we get that information out. Are there any other questions on this?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Frank from 41 again. Aaron, can you, if you were to extend the center line of 9 Center, 27 Center eastward, what Chicago street would that fall on?
Frank, I think the closest street is probably Granville on the city grid. The existing runway 9 right, 27 left is probably closest to Bryn Mawr, and the northern runway, which is 9 left, 27 right, is closest to Pratt Avenue. This runway 9 center is probably closest to Granville. We do have some outreach maps that we can upload and pass those on to Jeanette. Specifically, Frank, we did one for Ward 41. We've done it for several of the northern wards. We know that air traffic will likely go out over Lake Michigan, turn around and come back to land at O'Hare when we are in West Flow. So we did a couple of specific maps for those northern wards so that they can see where that flight path, where it falls on the city grid.
Okay, thank you.
Great, any other questions?
Madam Chair, it's Ernie in Park Ridge. Just to confirm what Aaron just said, it's commonly known here that 927 Center falls along the extended center line of Granville, so he's correct.
Great, thanks for that information.
And Mayor, just a final plug for any of the members that would like, outreach, whether it's by conference call or virtual meetings such as this, please know that Jeanette and Ryan and I, all of us are available to help you, even to review materials or to answer, more detailed questions.
Thank you. I really appreciate all the effort and resources that have gone into this. I think it's very helpful. All righty, let's move on to my report, and I only have one item. We need to approve the draft meeting calendar for 2021. The version that is in our packets today is slightly revised so that we have no more than one public meeting in a given week. This helps to spread out the taxing of resources at CDA certainly, and at other areas as well. So with that, you do have the revised calendar, and I'd like to have a motion and a second to approve this calendar.
Moved by Pete Silvestri, Cook County.
Thank you.
Second.
Karen Robles with Schaumburg.
Okay, Karen, thanks. You identified yourself second. So we appreciate that. If you do have comments over the course of the year, or if holidays come up or events come up that cause us to change these, Of course, we always have that flexibility, but under the Open Meetings Act, we do have to publish an official calendar for the year. So with that, I'd like to take the roll call vote to approve this calendar.
Village of Addison,
Yes.
Arlington Heights,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Bensenville,
Wentzville, yes.
Bloomingdale,
Yes.
City of Chicago,
Yes.
City of Chicago 36th Ward,
Yes.
38,
Yes.
39,
Yes.
41,
Yes.
Cook County,
Yes.
Des Plaines,
Yes.
Downers Grove, DuPage County,
Yes.
Elmhurst,
Yes.
Elmwood Park,
Yes.
Glenview,
Yes.
Hanover Park,
Yes.
Harwood Heights,
Yes.
Maywood, Melrose Park,
Yes.
Mount
Yes, sorry about
Prospect,
that. I had mute.
Mount Prospect,
Yes.
Niles,
Hang on, I go back to my computer.
Norwich,
Yes.
Northlake,
Yes.
Palatine,
Yes.
Park Ridge,
Yes.
River Forest,
Yes.
River Grove,
Yes.
Rolling Meadows,
Yes.
Rosemont,
Yes.
Schaumburg,
Yes.
Schiller Park,
Yes.
School District 86,
Yes.
87, 88,
Yes.
89.
Sorry, that was yes from 87. My
Thank
apologies.
you. 89, 207,
Sorry, 89, yes.
thank you. 207, 214,
Yes.
234.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the calendar is approved, and we'll move on to the standing ad hoc committee reports. Today we'll have 5 committee reports from technical, residential, ad hoc governance, Black Quiet, and then we'll vote on the 2021 budget after the report from the ad hoc budget committee. So Mr. Summers, you may start with technical committee.
Thank you, Your Honor. The technical committee met on September 15th via Zoom. CDA provided an update on permanent noise monitor replacement. They have confirmed several locations and are ready to move forward with city and suburban installations. Landrum and Brown presented updated manuals and fact sheets for the ground run-up enclosure, as well as the Fly Quiet program. CDA presented Airfield changes that took effect with the most recent charting cycle, involving several taxiway reopenings and extensions. One operational change has taken effect. Runway 22 right will be an arrival runway due northeast only, and runway 4 left will be departure runway due northeast only. This has been practiced for some time, but is now being made official. CDA reported that runway 9C 27C was scheduled to open November 5th. CDA prepared FAQs related to the runway, OMP, and noise impacts. FAA issued a video about the runway opening and is available on their website, as we discussed earlier. Landrum and Brown reported the impacts of COVID-19 pandemic on O'Hare and the general aviation system. All documents are located on the Onccc website, and the next technical committee meeting is October 13th. We intend to have that via Zoom. That concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Evan. Any questions on technical? I think that report on the impacts of COVID-19 on the aviation industry generally and on O'Hare specifically is very useful. I know I've had a resident or two ask because they've noticed the changes over the course of the summer, and it's been very helpful to put that sound in perspective.
We're going to keep that as a standing item. We believe that there's no event that has impacted noise in the area such as this in our lifetime.
We concur, I think. We all concur. Okay, Mr. Sorcy, residential.
Good morning, committee members. Good morning, Madam Chair. For odorous windows, the first residential sound insulation program advisory committee was conducted on September 1st, 2020. The advisory committee was formed as required by state legislation to provide guidance regarding the replacement of odorous windows and doors. For windows requiring mechanical repairs, the city advertised a specification to solicit a contractor for on-call warranty services on August 25th, 2020. The bid opening date was September 30th, 2020, and the city is evaluating the bids. This will be a 4-year term contract that will address warranty claims for windows and storm doors for companies that are no longer in business and are not fulfilling their warranty obligations. For Phase 17, bid package 3, which includes 130 historic homes in Norwood Park Historical District. The City of Chicago advertised specifications for construction bids on June 17th, 2020. The bid opening date was September 17th, 2020, and the city is currently reviewing the bids. For Phase 18, there were 527 homes eligible for participation. For those 527 homes, 402 homes enrolled in this phase, and the remaining 125 homes were re-invited to enroll in the O'Hare Phase 19. Home inventory appointments were conducted in 281 homes. The home inventory appointments were suspended on March 17th, 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic and will resume in the remaining 121 homes at a later date. Phase 18 will be divided into 2 construction contracts. Phase 18A for the first 225 homes and Phase 18B for the remaining 177 homes. The City of Chicago expects to advertise for Phase 18A construction bids in the 4th quarter of this year, and for Phase 18B construction bids in the 1st quarter of next year. For Phase 19, there are 1,122 homes eligible for participation. Most of these homes were already invited to participate in the earlier phase. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Chicago Department of Aviation conducted virtual home briefings in May. As of September 9th, 2020, 288 homeowners completed their enrollment paperwork, and additional 77 homeowners submitted applications and are working on their enrollment paperwork. The CDA has sent several invitations letters to the residents of the other 757 homes who have not yet to complete their enrollment to try and increase the participation in this last phase using the O'Hare modernization program built out nose contour. The next residential committee meeting will take place Wednesday, November 18th, 2020 via Zoom. This concludes my report, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Ralph. Any questions? Okay, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Karen, let's move on to Ad Hoc Governance Committee. I know you've been meeting with the legal department from the city, and we'll be interested to know how that's progressing.
Sure, thank you, Chairwoman. So representatives of the Intergovernmental Committee have been meeting with CDA and City of Chicago legal staff to refine the changes that we'd like to see incorporated into the intergovernmental agreement. We are very close to finalizing the document, and we expect it to go to the City Council for their approval in the next few months. It will then go on to the Onccc members for their approval before January 31st, 2021. Moving this to the end of January, typically our IGAs have to be approved by January 1st, but given that 2020 has been an unusual year and respecting that a lot of board meetings get changed around the holidays, we're giving everyone till the end of January to approve the intergovernmental agreement. We appreciate all of the work that CDA and the City of Chicago legal team have put into finalizing this agreement, and we're excited to get it finalized. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Karen. Any questions for Karen? Okay, let's move on then to the Fly Quiet Committee. I know you guys have been really busy, Joe, and fill us in on what's been going on.
All right, the Onccc Fly Quiet Committee met via Zoom teleconferencing on Tuesday, September 22nd, 2020. I'm going to report on 3 items that were on our agenda. The first is the Interim Fly Quiet Report, Part 1. CDA reviewed and prepared a summary report of the Interim Fly Quiet from November 2019 to mid-May 2020. The data from November to September was similar to Test 3. The report focused on summary, background, and highlights of the IFQ for that period. A summary of the Fly Quiet mode showed that there were 6 nights that used the entire 9-hour period of Fly Quiet from April to May. April to May operations utilized the full night due to COVID-19 impacts. This report is available on the Onccc website. Second item is the intersection departure issue. It's now clear that we now have a clear explanation from the FAA with their feedback on intersection departures. This procedure will be used on the North Airfield because of ground movement. The CDA presented noise model comparisons on the North Runways using intersection departures to indicate there will be a minimal noise effect on the human ear. Third item was long runways. The question we've all been asking is what runways will be able to use during flight quiet? This question is it still doesn't have a particular final answer yet. Once the Onccc is complete, there will be 4 runways over the length of 10,000 feet. CDA is meeting with the airlines and FAA to get their feedback on designating long runways so that the Flight Quiet Committee can develop runway configuration alternatives. So as soon as we get that feedback, we'll be able to continue with that issue. We'll keep you posted on this development. So lastly, what are the next steps that the Flight Quiet Committee is going to be looking at? During October meeting, there will be a robust discussion on alternatives presented by CDA and alternatives submitted by its members. It is time for the Flight Quiet Committee to review revised alternatives until we are comfortable with revisions. Only then will we present to the full commission our recommendations for approval. Those final alternatives will go to the FAA for environmental review before they can be adopted into the Flight Quiet 21 program. The next Flight Quiet Committee meeting will be held on October 27, 2020, 9:30 via Zoom teleconferencing. And that concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Great, thanks, Joe. Any questions for Joe at this point? Thank you, everyone on Flight Quiet, for all the hard work that you're doing. There's a lot to analyze and a lot of perspectives to take into account. Appreciate the hard work. Okay, the final committee report comes from Dr. Cooper, and he is our treasurer and also our de facto budget expert. So let's hear about the 2021 Onccc budget. And I've had a request from one of our members if we could combine the vote on the budget and the financial reports, I think for time purposes. Let's do the budget report and then maybe we can hear from Jeanette on the financials and combine the two. Unless someone objects to that combination. Dr. Cooper.
Good morning. The Onccc Ad Hoc Budget Committee met on Wednesday, September 23rd via teleconference. The committee members reviewed each budget line item and the corresponding dollar amounts. Before I begin, I'd like to recognize and thank the following committee members who took the time from their daily schedule to participate in the budget review process. Trustee Russell Klug of Schiller Park, Trustee John Kunkel of Hanover Park, Superintendent Jennifer Kelsel, and Mr. Dennis Ryan of River Grove. Before we review the budget, I'd like to ask for a motion and a second from the Budget Committee members to approve the draft meeting minutes from the September 23rd budget meeting.
I'll move so, Dennis Ryan.
John will second it.
Roll call vote. Russell?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
Ray Cooper, yes. Passes. Before we review the budget, I'd like to ask for, we got that? Got that. Each Onccc member should have received a copy of the draft 2021 budget earlier this week. The committee worked within the allotted budget amount of $256,000 for fiscal year 2021, which begins the 1st of January. The budget amount remains the same as in previous years. Again, thank you to the members of the Budget Committee for their participation, the City of Chicago for funding the Onccc, and our fellow commission members and staff for their support and hard work. Both the Budget Committee and the Executive Committee unanimously recommend the approval of the 2021 Commission budget. And I would ask at the appropriate time for the chair to ask for a motion and a second and a roll call vote to approve the 2021 Commission budget. That completes my report.
Okay, I don't see any questions in the chat feature. I do want to point out to folks that many of these numbers are flat. We've had a slight increase in benefits, but not in salaries. And that's because there are actually 2 people in that salary budget line item, even though we only have one, Jeanette. And we've been keeping that number flat, even though Jeanette is able to have a small salary increase included for her. The idea of keeping it open with 2 people is because In the past, we've had 2 people, and depending on the administrative work involved, when we get like quiet through and the new IGAs, et cetera, as well as wrapping up sound insulation, we need to have that contingency, and the net result is that our budget is actually flat from year to year, and we certainly appreciate the city including that funding in their budgeting as well. Okay.
Motion by the Village of River Forest to approve the 2021 budget as presented and the September 2020 financial report.
Okay, I'll need a second on that, and then
I'll
we'll.
second.
Okay.
Dennis Rivergood.
Thank you, Dennis. And now before we vote, Jeanette, if you would report to us the September financial report, please.
The expenses for the ONCC on September, for the month of September 2020 is $16,057.46. And we do have a motion and a second for both the budget and the September financials. I will do the roll call now.
Okay, wait, are there any comments on either
Sorry.
the budget or the September financials? And I see none, so now let's do the roll call vote.
Village of Addison,
Yes.
Arlington Heights,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Bentonville,
Yes.
Bloomingdale,
Yes.
City of Chicago,
Yes.
City of Chicago 36th Ward,
Yes.
38 Ward,
Yes.
39,
Yes.
Ward 41,
Yes.
Cook County,
Yes.
Des Plaines,
Yes.
Downers Grove, DuPage County,
Yes.
Elmhurst,
Yes.
Elmwood Park,
Yes.
Glenview,
Yes.
Hanover Park,
Yes.
Harwood Heights,
Yes.
Maywood,
Yes.
Melrose Park,
Yes.
Mount Prospect,
Yes.
Niles,
Yes.
Norwich,
Yes.
Northlake,
Yes.
Palatine,
Yes.
Park Ridge,
Yes.
River Forest,
Yes.
River Grove,
Yes.
Rolling Meadows,
Yes.
Rosemont,
Yes.
Schaumburg,
Yes.
Schiller Park,
Yes.
School District 86,
Yes.
87,
Yes.
88,
Yes.
89,
Yes.
100,
Yes.
207,
Yes.
214, and 234. Thank you.
214 is a yes.
Thank you.
Okay. The next ONCC meeting will be November 6, 2020. Do we have any comments now at the end of the meeting from any ONCC members?
We have a comment from Mr. Dwyer.
Okay, and that would be from the audience. So I see no comments from ONCC members. So Mr. Dwyer.
Yes, question on 9C27C, and if somebody could clarify what operational necessity for overnight operations means. A valid point has been made that 10C28C has been used for overnight operations for an extended interim period, and if 9C27C is different, if someone can explain why. Thanks.
Ryan Anderson, do you want to take that, or should we defer that to the FAA?
I would defer to the FAA.
Interesting. I would defer to the city. So we don't choose the runways on a daily basis. The city does. Could be construction, could be required flight tests, could be weather. And I think anything above and beyond that does not immediately come to mind.
Okay, it's basically Plan B is what I'm hearing. And you never know when Plan B may need to be called into question. Or
If I could follow up, could we just make this an agenda item at the next tech? I still think there's a need for some clarity for what happens in this next year of interim.
Absolutely, Dan. We're happy to do that.
Thank you.
All right, and we have no other questions? So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Again, please identify yourself as well as the person making the second. When you respond to the roll call vote, please answer 2 questions, yes or no on adjourning, and yes or no on whether you could hear everything during the meeting. So is there a motion? Okay, Pete, okay, Pete Silvestri made the motion. Who's the second?
I'll second. Dennis, River Grove.
Dennis. Okay, let's vote on adjournment and whether you can hear.
Village of Addison,
Yes and yes.
Arlington Heights,
Yes and yes.
Bartlett,
Yes, yes.
Bentonville,
Yes and yes.
Bloomingdale,
Yes and yes.
City of Chicago,
Yes and yes.
City of Chicago 36th Ward,
Yes and yes.
38th Ward, 39th,
Yes.
39th,
Yes and yes.
41st,
Yes, yes.
Cook County,
Yes, yes.
Des Plaines,
Yes and yes.
Downers Grove, DuPage County,
Yes and yes.
Elmhurst,
Yes, yes.
Elmwood Park,
Yes and yes.
Glenview,
Yes and yes.
Hanover Park,
Yes and yes.
Harwood Heights,
Yes, yes.
Maywood,
Yes, yes.
Melrose Park,
Yes and yes.
Mount Prospect,
Yes and yes.
Niles,
Yes and yes.
Norwich,
Yes and yes.
Northlake,
Yes, yes.
Palatine,
Yes, yes.
Park Ridge,
Yes and yes.
River Forest,
Yes, yes.
River Grove,
Yes and yes.
Rolling Meadows,
Yes, yes.
Rosemont,
Yes and yes.
Schaumburg,
Yes and yes.
Schiller Park,
Yes and yes.
I do the dog next door.
School District 86,
Yes and yes.
87,
Yes, yes.
88,
Yes and yes.
89,
Yes and yes.
100,
Yes, yes.
207,
Yes and yes.
234, and 214.
Yes and yes.
Thank you.
Thanks all. We're adjourned. Enjoy the weekend. And we'll see you at a committee meeting or next month.
Have a good day, everybody.
Have a good day, everybody. Thank you.